Testing. All right, guys. And so we are here for the very first time in my new filming studio. Now, let me begin with, I am by no means even close to done furnishing this place. I actually have a lot more work to do, quite a bit more furniture on the way and things still to purchase, but I got the keys about a week ago. You guys might have seen my Instagram post if you guys follow me on Instagram. If you don't, go ahead and follow me on Instagram if you so choose. But with that to say, I couldn't help myself. I have the keys. I've had the keys in my pocket for like a week and it's just burning a hole in my pocket. But to go ahead and kick things off for the very first video here in the new studio or office or workspace or whatever you want to call it, we have here a brand new offering from the team over at Fear of God, but this time in collaboration with the Germans that are Birkenstock, the king of the clogs, the superheroes of sandals, and that's as far as I'll go with these superlatives. But yeah, let's go ahead and unbox them, discuss them, and I'll share with you guys my overall thoughts, review them, and all that good stuff. All right, and so starting things out with the box, you've got a very, very minimalist box. As you can see out front, you've got Birkenstock, and underneath that, you've got the Fear of God text. Very, very simple, but very, very clean and elegant. I do love the color of this box, and not to get too far into it, but the added detail of the rubberized stamp or logo up top is a really nice touch. Unnecessary, but a very nice touch nonetheless. It kind of reminds me of what you'd see on like the older, maybe like 2018-ish Fear of God Essentials when they had like the rubberized logo. Think that, but on a box, not necessarily serving a purpose or function outside of the fact that it looks very, very good. Now, for the size tag, you've got a standard Birkenstock size tag. And as you can see, I did go ahead and size to a size 41. Now, generally speaking, when it comes to Fear of God mainline footwear, the general rule of thumb at least, is to go ahead and size down by 1.5 sizes. That is not going to be the case here because they didn't use the standard Fear of God molding. They actually went with Birkenstock. So go ahead and take your Birkenstock size. Generally, I always take a 41. 41 fits me perfect. And for reference sizing, I am a size 8.5 to a 9. Most of the time, I am a size 9, but bear in mind, I do have a slightly wider foot. So for shoes that are naturally wider, I will take an 8.5 from time to time. Now, getting into the box, nothing really too crazy with regard to presentation. You have Fear of God Birkenstock paper, and then you have the shoes themselves. Now, just before I talk into detail about my thoughts and the quality and all that good stuff, I did want to touch on a few different general information points to kind of help set up the template or the foundation that will ultimately take us to my overall opinions. So I do find it to be necessary to discuss these things. First and foremost, there has been a very heated debate in the Locust&WildHoney Facebook group regarding these shoes. As many of you guys know, this is probably one of the most dense places for people who love Fear of God. As you guys may or may not know, one of the mainstays here at Locust&WildHoney is the coverage over Fear of God. You guys know I love Jerry. I love what he's about. We share our love and passion for Jesus Christ and humans. And so naturally, I tend to gravitate to an awesome dude like Jerry Lorenzo and his minimalist designs. So needless to say, a lot of people who watch my videos are fans of Fear of God, have followed Jerry for years and years and years, well before the Essentials times, but there has yet to be a release from Jerry to the community this polarizing. And quite honestly, it does make sense. I mean, we're talking about a pair of slides priced at almost $500. Now, I'm in no way, shape, or form trying to convince you otherwise. Many of you guys will have your opinion and stick to it. And quite honestly, you'd be very well justified in taking whatever stance you land on. My job here now is just to present to you some information and my thoughts on these slides. And so with that, beginning with the origin story of the Birkenstock 1774 line really is centered around different collaborations and special releases being comprised of their top tier materials, handcrafted in Germany. These shoes are very limited and crafted with the utmost level of precision. With that level of precision, craftsmanship, and of course the elevated materials will come a premium price point, hence that $455 retail price. Now, this isn't only limited to Fear of God. There's a lot of people kind of flaming Jerry for this price point, but this is actually a regular practice for a majority of their collaborations. You guys might be familiar with the Stussy collaboration. They did a Boston at a retail price of $188. There were a few collaborations with Rick Owens, which were right at that mid 400s price point. There is the Valentino Arizona at a price point of $495. And then you have the Dior Mule, which retails at $1,100. $1,100 is pretty steep. And again, we're talking about a Birkenstock. So in light of that collaboration, does that kind of change your mind or sway you a little bit? Again, I'm not trying to get you to change your mind, but maybe in light of that fact, some of you guys might ease up on Jerry a little bit. Anyways, these shoes did release on the 25th of January on the Fear of God website at that retail price of $455. And then a worldwide release happened just 2 days later at various retailers at that same $455 price point. Now, if you're in the Facebook group, then you guys may have caught these for below retail, as there were a few different retailers that sold them for $100 under MSRP, being $355. I will have a link to those websites down below for your viewing pleasure. If you guys are on the fence of getting these, but don't want to go all the way up to $455, bringing it down to $355, lightening up the blow a little bit might take you guys over the edge. So that will be provided below for your viewing pleasure. Now, if you have yet to experience a pair of Birkenstocks, you are in for a treat, regardless of what pair you go for. They're actually the company that coined the term Footbed, with their original 4-layer footbed that is comprised of cork and various other materials, creating one of the most comfortable experiences for a shoe I've ever felt, because they're extra comfy. But in addition to that, these actually mold perfectly to the shape of your foot with wear. Now, for this pair specifically, you've got an additional layer that is comprised of tonal suede and cork latex, adding more comfort, but an additional layer of luxury. For the outsole, you've got a standard Birkenstock shaped outsole that is comprised of a rubberized translucent material. This is actually in contrast to what you typically get from your standard run-of-the-mill Birkenstocks, because this dense translucent rubber will definitely last you much longer than the standard outsoles that come on normal Birkenstocks. Now, working our way up to the upper, we've got an insanely soft, high quality raw piece of calf skin. This is top tier calf skin. Like, seriously, this suede is just impressive. In Jerry's own words, he used a monolithic strap closure, which is intended to be somewhat exaggerated, adding a little bit of subtle detail to this otherwise very minimalistic offering. The slab of suede up top for the strap is finished with a raw cut, which is very true to Fear of God's overall design language, an element of Jerry's design language that we haven't seen since the like 4th or 5th collection. But with that to say, that essentially makes up the entirety of the shoe. It's very lack of branding. There is a Birkenstock logo embossed here on the medial portion, but outside of that, there really isn't any visible branding, except for on the footbed, of course. Now, before I let you guys go, I did want to share with you guys my overall thoughts on the shoe because yes, $455 for really any shoe is nothing to scoff at. It's a lot of money. And when you take into account that this isn't necessarily a shoe, but moreover, a sandal, I could totally understand why you would skip on this specific offering. And that's essentially where I land. Do I think you should get this shoe? Honestly, no. I think $455, regardless of how nice this shoe is, regardless of my personal feelings towards Jerry Lorenzo in the brand Fear of God overall, I just can't quite get there, especially considering the timing. $455 is just a touch high for me, and so for that reason, I can see these going on sale, say the Essence half yearly sale, maybe on Mr. Porter. But yeah, that's my honest opinion on these shoes. Do I like them? Yes, I really, really do. Am I gonna wear them? For sure. But I did want to speak from a practicality standpoint. Now, on the flip side, for those of you who justify buying, say, Travis Scott Jordan 1s at the price of resale prices, $1,000, whatever, then from that lens and then from that scope, I would say if you're that person, give these a look. At the end of the day, I cannot emphasize enough the difference in quality, designer versus stuff made in bulk and in those factories at wages that are far below what they actually deserve. At the end of the day, if you can justify paying resale prices on those type of shoes, then you could probably stretch to get these at $455. Again, I'm not trying to convince you or anything of that nature, but I will say there is a stark contrast between designer and something like these and shoes of that nature. Anyways, that is going to conclude today's video, I would say, and end this with, at the end of the day, just buy what you like. It's your money. Spend it how you see fit. For me personally, I am very, very excited to own these. The quality is very nice. The design is very clean, very minimalist, and should work seamlessly into my wardrobe. And so with that, I depart you with a huge thank you for stopping by today's video. I know I say it time and time again, I'm not going to stop because I mean it. It really is such a privilege to get to serve you through making content. And man, I just have so much fun with it, just talking and ultimately gathering around this fun little hobby that we call streetwear. If you did enjoy today's video, please be sure to communicate that to me by hitting that thumbs up button and subscribing to my channel with notifications on. And until next time, I'll catch you in the next upload. Peace and be blessed.